This is the Vjosa River in Albania. It is one of Europe's last free-flowing wild waterways. Unlike other rivers in Europe, it hasn't been dammed or forced into concrete channels by humans. The landscape itself is a testament to deep time. The slow, relentless collision of the African and Eurasian tectonic plates folded the Earth, rising into the massive north-south mountain ranges we see today. Over millennia, rivers like the Vjosa and the Shkumbin carved deep, impenetrable gorges through these peaks, connecting isolated inland communities with a coastal trading world. The mountains protected Illyrian and Albanian communities and held off Alexander the Great. But the river valleys served as critical pathways connecting the Adriatic coast to the Greek and later Roman worlds. The oldest and maybe most important Roman road outside of Italy is Via Egnatia. It follows the Shkumbin River from Durrës to Elbasan and over to Ohrid Lake. It was a direct highway to the massive Roman capital at Constantinople. Some of the most important Romans have traveled the Via Egnatia, namely Cicero, Mark Antony, Brutus, and Pompey. The journey could be covered in 30 days by foot, which would be faster and more reliable than by sail. In this video, we explore the history and sustainable development opportunity of the Vjosa, which has been inhabited since prehistoric times and was officially designated Europe's first wild river national park and a UNESCO Biosphere reserve in 2023. The Vjosa demonstrates that wild rivers and mountains aren't just natural treasures, they're pillars of the local economy, multiplying income for local businesses and the communities around them. The Vjosa starts at the Greek border, below the towering 2,500-meter Nemerchka mountain range, near the village of Charchove. The valley and its neighboring parks, defined by massive ancient fir trees, rocky ridgelines, and panoramic views, serve as one of Albania's premier hubs for hiking. The river runs through a deep, rugged limestone valley, passing occasionally under wood plank footbridges suspended by steel wires that are ideal for mountain biking journeys along the valley. The banks are covered by steep cliffs, densely forested slopes, and striking rock formations. The water moves at a fast, steady clip, passing Nivica Canyon with its hot springs and canyoning adventures. From Petran to Permet, the river makes several steep drops and sharp turns, creating a thrilling sequence of Class 2 to 4 rapids. This is the most intense stretch of the upper river and is popular with local rafting companies. Permet is a former Ottoman administrative center known for its food tradition: mountain honey, herbs, local wine, raki, and dairy products. Kayakers can paddle beneath the town's main bridge, passing its mosque and leafy riverside promenade. At the town of Kelchira, the river veers into a dramatic, narrow gorge carved straight through the mountains. High on the right bank, guarding the entrance, stands the ruins of an ancient Illyrian castle. This stretch reveals some of the Vjosa's most breathtaking scenery. Waterfalls cascade down steep, forested slopes, and the dense overhead canopy forms a tunnel of shifting green and shadow. This pass is a natural defensive boundary between two valleys, and it has been the battle site from the Roman invasions through to the Second World War. In 198 BC, the Roman Republic, having recently conquered the Illyrians' lands from Skrodra to Orecum, advanced down the Vjosa River and defeated Philip V of Macedon inside the gorge, before advancing into the Greek mainland for the first time. In 1941, the Italians and the Greeks fought over Kelchira and the gorge, which became the new, stabilized front line, until the Germans invaded in 1942. Downstream of the gorge, the Vjosa meets the Drinosh River, and you encounter the towering fortress town of Tepelene. In 1809, the poet Lord Byron visited Tepelene as a guest of Ali Pasha, the flamboyant and semi-independent ruler of a large Balkan kingdom that stretched from Elbasan to the Peloponnese. His rise to power started in the Drinosh Valley that connected the valley fortress towns connecting Tepelene, Gjirokastra, and Janina. Past the communist-era coal mining town of Memalije, the river enters a wide, open valley. Here, far from houses and fields, you pass the occasional goat herders, accompanied by barking dogs running along the shore. Below the hilltop villages of Lešňu and Kalivač, the river turns west again, entering a remote forested gorge with clear blue water, sandy beaches, and perfect camping opportunities. Exiting the gorge, you pass the unfinished Kalivač hydroelectric dam project. Launched in 2007, it was ultimately abandoned after sustained, fierce resistance from local and international environmental groups. That legal victory was instrumental in the eventual designation of the Vjosa Wild River National Park in March 2023. This granted the entire river and its tributaries the highest level of environmental protection, an unprecedented achievement for conservation in Europe. From Pocem, the valley further widens out, the mountains recede away, and the river flows west into a vast coastal plain toward the Adriatic Sea. Before the mountains depart, perched high above the right bank, is the ancient Illyrian settlement of Byllis. This remarkable archaeological site features Acropolis ruins, a 7,500-person stadium, temples, and a 2-kilometer defensive wall, offering a rare glimpse into a civilization that flourished long before Roman or Hellenic influence. Further on, you pass the ancient colony of Apollonia, founded in the 6th century BC. Apollonia once sat on the right bank of the Vjosa River with a large harbor that could support 100 of merchant ships at a time. Apollonia was a center for education and philosophy. Its most famous student was the future Caesar Augustus, first emperor of Rome. In the 2nd century, an earthquake rerouted the Vjosa south, and the area around the city silted up. The city was abandoned, and maritime commerce shifted to Aulon, or modern-day Vlore. The Vjosa carries millions of tons of sediment, gravel, and fine silt that created the sandy banks of Zvernec and the inland wetland and marshes of Narta Lagoon. This unique geological balance is precisely why the area evolved into a nutrient-rich sanctuary for over 250 species of migratory birds. A new luxury resort can look like a clear win with foreign investment, tax revenue, and a tangible sign of progress. But it's worth asking whether this kind of development actually delivers the broader economic benefits that local businesses and communities need. The Maldives offers a useful case study in what's sometimes called enclave tourism, a model where guests fly directly to private island resorts with little contact with the surrounding economy. Studies suggest that as much as 80% of tourism spending there ends up leaving the country again through imported goods, foreign workers' remittances, and profits sent back to overseas owners. To understand the potential for the Vjosa, consider Slovenia's Soča river valley. Slovenia has built a river tourism economy based on family-run, community-embedded businesses that offer year-round employment in small mountain towns. An estimated 95% of tourist bookings go directly to local businesses, with tax revenue flowing straight into community budgets to finance local infrastructure. This tourism model supports a diverse range of adventure activities: rafting, canyoning, birdwatching, rock climbing, hiking, and mountain biking. The Soča Valley now generates 330,000 overnight stays annually, and an estimated 90 million euros in direct tourist expenditure from accommodation alone. Money spent locally stays local, circulating repeatedly to strengthen the entire community. €1 spent at a Vjosa guest house reaches the owner, who buys meat and vegetables from a local farmer, who then uses that income to pay school fees or employ local staff. According to the World Bank, adventure-based tourism around protected areas generates an additional $2 to $2.50 in local income for every dollar spent. This illustrates how nature tourism often stimulates more economic activity in non-tourism sectors than in the tourism industry itself. Albania welcomed a record 12.5 million foreign visitors in 2025. But hotspots like Sarand and Ksamil are already facing overcrowding and infrastructure strain. The critical challenge is not simply attracting investment, but ensuring the long-term, sustainable return of every euro invested. Nature-based tourism, by design, distributes value across a broader horizon. Local guides, independent food suppliers, community transport, and family-run guesthouses. From Teth National Park in the north to Karaburun Marine Park in the west, Shebenik National Park in the east, and the fur of Hotova Danguli in the south, Albania holds vast, untapped potential. Ultimately, the future of the Vjosa is not a choice between conservation and the economy. It is a choice between an economy that remains in Albania and one that merely passes through it.